Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to be showing how to clean up a handheld interview camera. Okay, and the example I'm going to be showing is we've got a stationary A camera that was on a tripod, and then when we moved to the B camera, as it was handheld, it wobbles a bit, and we had a request from the client to kind of tame it. One of the biggest issues with this is we can't just put warp stabilize on it. The main reason is it'll make the whole world feel like it rotates around it. So what we're going to be basically doing is taking this footage into Adobe Aftereffects. And then dealing with it from in there in a few different ways. So if we right click the footage that we want to take into After Effects, in this case it's on video track 3, and then press replace with After Effects composition, this will basically bring it in with the correct cut points in place and bring it into After Effects. The first step is we're going to apply warp stabilize. What this will now do is try and build a steady shot from it. While this works on big, wide kind of panning shots, the main issue with warp stabilize when you use an interview footage is it can't kind of get what you're trying to stabilize, because it'll presume the camera's shaking on her head, but in this case, because she's moving her head a lot, it's going to only make the stabilization process a lot worse, because we're basically wanting to stabilize it to the pillars behind. So this will take about 5 seconds to finish off, and then I can kind of show you what happens when we stabilize this using warp stabilize. It's finishing up now. Okay, so as we play through, it doesn't look too bad until we get midway, and then it looks like the whole world melts around her. So as we basically preview this, you'll see that the kind of back looks really trippy, and if you gave this to the client, they'd probably look at you as if you were crazy. So we've got the effect in the top left. If we go down to Advanced, and then we can toggle on this new button called Show Track Points. This was only available in Adobe After Effects Creative Cloud, and it was one of the big things they added. So as you can see, once you've toggled that on, you see all these little dots get added. Basically make them bigger, because we're going to be deleting them. And as you can see, there's a lot of track points on her head and not that many on the background. That's because the Adobe After Effects is tracking around the head to try and get these points to stabilize off. But we don't want to stabilize off the person being interviewed, we want to stabilize off the background. So what we'll now do is get the mouse tool and select round her, and then let go, and then basically scroll forwards until you've got some more, and then rinse and repeat this step. I find for every second of footage you've got to do it about 3 times. So, but you really don't have to be that careful when you're going through and sorting it, because as you're going through, it's deleting the points and then pushing that further forward and then going through. So I'll just finish up doing this, and I'll fast forward the footage so you can see what I'm doing, but you don't have to listen to me droning on. Okay, now we've got to the end of the footage. We're basically just going to go through and see if any points where the pickup. And as you see, there's about 3 or 4 points when a lot of the dots come back. So we're just going to go through and again, just re-delete them off the person being interviewed. You can leave the odd 1 or 2 on, they're not going to really push the footage out too much, because After Effects will presume they're false positives and just delete them anyway. So these, there's a little section down here that's playing it. Clean that off of her. Basically want to remove the majority of the clumps that appear on the person being interviewed. So we're now approaching the end. Just a few on her forehead here. And there we have it. So now when we scroll through, there'll be very few points on the person being interviewed. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate. So now we go back to the effect in the top left, and then we basically toggle the Show Track Points button again. What this will now do is basically turn it back to what it looks like before. So now if we do a preview of the footage, before where the whole world was warping around her, we should get a really nice stable shot out of this footage. And that's the end result. The joy of doing it this way and working with Premiere is that we don't have to render in order to send it back. We literally just save the project, go back to Premiere, and then wait a second, and then the footage has been updated. Press enter to render the footage, and if you wait a few seconds, we'll be able to see how that edit works within what we're doing. So we've got our tripod held first shot, A camera, moving into the B camera now, which has been post-stabilized, and as you can see, it's absolutely lovely and smooth. And then back into it. And that's how with Adobe After Effects you can stabilize footage really easily. I hope that was of some help to you. Thank you. Bye-bye.